The Nissan Ariya is not only a few years too late, but is also going to be ridiculously overpriced in Australia. The base variant, called the Engage, is priced at 56,000 Australians. It should have been some 15 grand cheaper, because better EVs than the Ariya are already available for 40 grand. Just look at the Geely EX5. It has a 45 kilometre range advantage over the Nissan on the WLTP cycle. Ariya's acceleration is also slower than the Geely. So what the hell are Nissan charging a $15,000 premium for? The almost dead Nissan brand? Nissan is in such a dire condition financially that in all probability, the Ariya is going to be Nissan's last attempt at making an EV before the brand conks out. On the other hand, if you are going to spend upwards of 56 grand anyways, at least get a Tesla. Not only does the rear-wheel driven Model 3 have better dynamics than the front-wheel driven Ariya, but also a good 128 kilometre longer range. Not to forget, the Tesla might soon get permission to go driverless if the scumbag politicians allow it. However, if having fun while driving an EV is even remotely important to you, go straight for the MG4X Power. For just $4,000 extra, you get a car that is quicker than a Porsche 911. Let's take a moment to appreciate that a $60,000 EV here is embarrassing a $300,000 Porsche in a key performance parameter. But the story doesn't end here. If you wish to get a car even quicker than the X-Power at half the price, simply get a used Model 3 Performance. 2020 examples, with around 100,000 kilometers on the clock, are already retailing for less than 35 grand. If you don't want the hassle of using a public charger, you can always go for a plug-in hybrid and actually save some money compared to the Nissan. The Haval H6 GT is a couple of grand cheaper than the base Ariya, but is almost 3 seconds quicker than it to 100 kph. A side note here is the all-wheel drive version of the Nissan Ariya, which costs an insane 72 grand and yet is slower than the plug-in hybrid Haval. Last but not the least are the dinosaur-fuelled vehicles. There's the Golf GTi, which is currently the quickest conventional car up to 70 grand, but is still 3/10 off the pace compared to the Ariya. If you want something more affordable, then you have the Polo GTi, the quickest conventional car up to 40 grand. There are of course some gems in the used car market, with X-Power matching performance under 20 grand for those who know where to find them. By now you must have realized that this is not a conventional review as such, but more of a comparative assessment of where the Ariya stands in terms of its price, performance and range. Links to some of the best reviews of the Ariya are posted in the pinned comment for your convenience.